All right, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. Appreciate you hanging out with us while we talk about what's happening in the marketplace. We're just waiting for a few more people to get on with us right now. So just one more minute, and then we'll get started. All right. Okay, so let's get started. So today's talk is, why is the market heating up? Many of you may have been starting to hear rumblings or news articles about people coming up from the city wanting to buy real estate, sort of a mass exodus, and looking to buy real estate in the suburbs. And there is a lot of truth to that, and we're going to kind of talk about what's happening in the market right now, why that's happening, and how things are heating up. So just to give you a quick intro on who I am, my name is Mark Boyland. I'm with Keller Williams Realty. I run the top team in Westchester and Putnam counties for residential real estate. I've been doing this for a little over 25 years, and I've been through a few down markets and up markets, so I think I have a pretty good perspective on how these things can shake out and what you can do to protect yourself as well as benefit from them, because there's opportunities there as well. So what are we talking about today? Well, we're going to talk about the market shift. The market's always shifting, a little bit of then, a little bit of now. We'll go over what we're doing to adapt in this market. So we're helping clients, maximize their purchases, maximize their sales, but trying to keep everybody safe at the same time, because that's still a big issue for many people, and we want to make sure that we keep people safe while we're still working to find their home or sell their home. What are the potential opportunities in the market right now? And then we'll open it up for Q&A, little questions and answers. So at any point, if you have a question in regards to what I'm talking about, just go to the chat feature at the bottom, and then just type in your question, and then we can answer it towards the end of the broadcast. So first off, I just want to, let you know that right now we're in a recession, right? But you have to remember that recessions do not equal a housing crisis. This is a really important thing I try to get across to people. I talk to clients, I talk to friends, I talk to other people that ask me about real estate, and they're all very surprised that real estate is actually moving forward, that people are buying homes, people are selling homes, and there's not some great retraction, or people are just not, holed up at home, not doing anything. And it's important to look at history. When we look at the last 5 recessions, the last 5 recessions show that 3 out of the last 5 recessions, prices actually, home price appreciation actually went up. It went up 6% in 1980, 3.5% in 81, and 6.6% in 2001. The only times that it went down was in 1991, which is partially due to a housing recession, housing-related recession, and then, of course, 2008. But 2008, very significant drop, almost 20%, but that was a housing-based recession. So that was due to housing. Okay, and we know we've come back from that. So now the difference is, of course, this is a health crisis. It's not a housing crisis. So very different. So we're not going to see the same level of depreciation that we saw in the last down market. And I just want to be very clear about that. So what's been happening over the last 20 years or so is that the median price for rent, or the median asking price for rent, has been going up and up and up since 1988, right? So the higher the rental prices go, what happens, right? It pushes people to do what? Look for lower cost alternatives. Well, what's a lower cost alternative to renting? Well, I don't know, maybe buying a home. So when you take a look in correlation to that, home ownership rates, or percentage of home ownership, has actually risen out of the last 8 years. So the last 8 years, home ownership percentages have been going up. So we were on a track there where more and more people were looking to own their own home versus renting. Now, why is that? Well, for the most part, after 2008, a lot of builders pulled back. There wasn't as much new homes going up, and little by little, the economy grew, and then it got faster and faster. People needed housing. Guess what? Not enough housing for them. What did they have to do? They had to rent. What did that do to rental prices? It went up, which now is pushing people more towards home ownership. Okay, so that we were on that track before this virus even happened. The other big thing that's happened which is important to note, is that interest rates are the lowest, folks, they have ever been. We're looking at a 30-year fixed right now, 30-year fixed mortgage at 3.15%. That's incredible. When I started in real estate, interest rates were about 8%. 8% about 25 years ago. If you go back to the early 80s, interest rates were hitting 18%. So this is pretty insane that they're down to 3.15, and they are not going to stay this way forever. Okay, as the economy improves, as we get through the virus, these rates are not going to last. Let's say you wanted to be even more conservative, do a 15-year mortgage, 2.62%. I mean, if you can handle the additional, the larger payment, you're getting a much better interest rate and you're paying off that mortgage within 15 years. Now, let's say you're not looking to buy, you're not looking to sell right now, but you do own a home. Take a look at your mortgage statement and see where your interest rate is. You might want to think about refinancing right now. This would be a great time to refinance because of those low rates. So let's take a look at what's happening in the market right now as far as showings go. All right, so if you look at that blue line, that's last year. That's 2019. Those are the average showings in the state of New York. The orange line is 2020. So you can see that orange line drops like a brick in mid to late March there, starts going on the decline. That's when things really were starting to get a little hairy with the virus. The governor was shutting down the state. A lot of crazy things were happening there. But let's take a look. After March 31st, what starts happening? That number keeps going up and up and up and up, and it's getting closer and closer to where it was before the virus hit. So there's buyers out there. They're eager to buy. They want to buy something. They're out there looking. They're out there shopping right now, and they just need inventory to look at. So if we take a look at this quote by Lawrence Yun, he's the chief economist of NAR. Right now, supply is extremely limited, and there are simply not as many homes for sale to meet the demand among potential buyers. More supply and more listings are needed to provide faster recovery for the economy. So that chief economist, he's already seeing it now, that we need more inventory out there. And let's take a look at it from a local perspective. Let's take a look at single-family homes in Westchester County compared year over year, right? So when we take a look at homes for sale right now in Westchester County, single-family homes, for April 2020, there's 1,960 homes on the market. Now let's take a look at April 2019. There were 3,108 homes on the market. That is almost a 40% decline in inventory during what is traditionally a spring market. This should be one of the busiest times of the year. It should be one of the times of the year where inventory is going through the roof, and it's actually lower than it has ever been. That is significant. Let's take a look at some other things. Median days on market right now, okay? 63 days on market right now. We go back to 2019. Let's take a look at that, okay? 65 days on market. So in the middle of a pandemic, the number of days on market it takes to sell a home has actually dropped by 2 days. It has not gone up. That means houses are coming on the market and they're moving at a very quick pace. So that's significant to note. Median price per square foot, right now, $309 per square foot. Okay, we go back to April of 2019, $292 a square foot. So in fact, the price per square foot has gone up by 6% since last year, once again, in the middle of a pandemic. So that is significant. Now keep in mind, be very careful with price per square foot. There's a lot of things that go into that, so it should not be used as your sole measure of value for your home. That's something that a realtor can go through with you to determine if that's relevant or not. Let's take a look at median percent of last list price. So this is the percentage of what homes are selling for compared to their list price. So right now, 98.2%. So homes are selling within 98.2% of their asking price on average in Westchester right now. When we go back to last year, 2019, they were selling for 97.8%. So they're actually selling closer to asking now during a pandemic than they were last year. So these are all really interesting numbers to take a look at when factoring in what's happening in the market right now. So moving forward, right? Here's the thing, 39% of people surveyed in urban neighborhoods have considered moving to a less densely populated area due to COVID-19. Now keep in mind, these 39% of people were not considering buying a home 2, 3, 4 months ago. They were very happy in their apartment, in their condo, their co-op, whatever it was. So these are all new buyers coming into the market. Add that on to the existing buyers, the people that were intending on buying a home at this time. So now you have two groups of people that are looking to buy, and you have inventory that's almost 40% lower than it should be. So that's pretty significant. Now, as we know, these things don't last forever. I've been through a number of markets, and markets have a way of balancing out. So what we're starting to see is now that the market is hot, 77% of potential sellers are preparing to sell their homes following the end of stay-at-home orders, if not sooner. Okay, we're seeing more and more listings come on. So what does that mean? That means that this window right now, where we have high demand and low supply, is going to keep shrinking over the next few months. And things eventually will balance out, as they always do. So after a pause, this is for a quote from NAR, after a pause, home sellers are gearing up to list their properties with the reopening of the economy. Plenty of buyers also appear ready to take advantage of record low mortgage rates and the stability that comes with these locked-in monthly payments into the future years. So that is also very significant. This market is benefiting not only buyers, but also sellers. Okay, so if you're thinking, if you're buying in the market that, oh, maybe I should wait for the market to go down. Yeah, well, maybe prices could go down a year from now, but you could also experience rates going up at least 1%, effectively lowering your purchase power by 10%. So the getting's good right now with interest rates. So definitely consider, if you were thinking of buying, now may be the time to do that. Let's take a look at our own multiple listing service, all right? In the last 7 days, just the last 7 days, 587 new listings have come on the market just in the last 7 days. 266 went under contract. That means these are buyers. These are people that went out and were looking at houses, considering houses, put in offers, got inspections done, went to contract, all during the COVID period, fully knowing what they were getting into, right? So they were all looking during that period, and they wanted to buy a house regardless. 215 homes sold in the last 7 days. So closings are still happening. Just on our own team, just to give you a sense of what we're doing, we had 21 accepted offers in the past 2 weeks with our clients. 21 just in the last 2 weeks. That's an incredible amount of deals just for a 14-day period. We put 9 deals into contract in those 2 weeks, and we've had 36 virtual open houses held since May 1st. And I'll get into what virtual open houses are. And actually, in the last 4 days, we've received over 17 offers on our listings. So it's been incredibly busy right now for us. So what are we doing differently in the marketplace right now? Okay, and I want to go through this real quick, and then I'll get into what are the opportunities in the market. One, we want to keep everybody safe. So let me put that out there. We want everybody to be safe, whether it's our buyer or seller client. So we're putting in protocols, we're putting in systems, we're putting in technology to make sure that if you are buying or selling with the Mark Boyland team, that you are protected as well as anybody can be in this market. So we're doing virtual buyer and seller consultations. Okay, so we do those over Zoom. We're e-signing documents. We're doing 3D tours of all of our listings and requesting that virtual tours from other agents' listings for our clients. We're doing virtual showings by our buyer specialists. So our buyer team will go out and they'll preview a home for you and have you on FaceTime so you can see what's going on in the house if there's no 3D tour for that property. We're putting together client care safety protocol kits. So these are shoe covers, masks, gloves. So you have those. So when you do find the right home, you are protected if you have to go into it. We're doing no contact showings. We're doing a wonderful program called Open Houses from Your Couches. So this is where we actually have virtual open houses. People can just log in from home on their smart device, look at the home, have an agent answer their questions, and then get more information. And we have inspectors who are going to offer no contact home inspections with YouTube video walkthroughs. So a whole bunch of great stuff that we're doing to keep the process going and keeping people safe. What are we doing to market and target these buyers that are coming up from the city? So we recently purchased a website, northofthecity.com, and this is to target market those New York City dwellers and remind them of the opportunities that are available outside of the city. You know, we have backyards, we have elbow room, we have parks, we have space. So why not take advantage of that? So we're constantly reminding through social media advertising, retargeting advertising of that. The other thing is 3D tours. So we have some of the best technology with 3D tours. We're doing these 3D tours where a buyer can pull out and see an entire dollhouse view of your home. They can zoom in and walk through the house as if they were actually there. They can even use 3D goggles if they have them to walk through the house. They can even measure the rooms within that virtual space. So it's really cool technology, and we're getting a lot of clients that are really thrilled to have that option so they don't have to leave their house. We're putting out client care safety protocol kits, as I mentioned, with gloves and booties and gloves, shoe covers and masks, so people can go in the house and make sure they're protected if they don't have that stuff. Remember, if you do have any questions in regards to anything that I'm talking about, please make sure to go to the chat feature at the bottom of Zoom, click on that, type in your question, and we'll answer them at the end. So what are the potential opportunities in the market? Well, interest rates are still historically low. They're not going to stay that way forever. So this is allowing buyers to afford more home or to purchase in areas that they might have been shut out of before. We have the lowest spring market inventory ever. That means less competition for your home if you're selling. So your pricing is probably going to be much better than it normally would be at this time of year, depending on where the market was going. And it might be better this year than it is next year. So you might want to take advantage of that if you have been thinking of selling. Residents from New York City are looking for additional housing options in the suburbs. You know, we saw it first with the short-term rental market. People were coming in and they were looking to find short-term rentals. Once those dried up, they went to long-term rentals. Once those dried up, they were saying, hey, maybe I should buy now. So that market is definitely heating up. And the thing you want to remember about is that market shift. Yeah, and we talked about this before. You want to make sure that if you want to get your maximum pricing or the best deal on interest rates, there's a window for that, and that window will be gone. I'm thinking, you know, we're probably got about 8 more weeks before the market starts to balance out. As you know, inventory starts to spike and buyers are finding, you know, the houses that they need. So it might be something to think about to make that move sooner rather than later. Just a quick reminder before we go to the Q&A. Our summer 2020 buyer and seller guides are going to be done by June 5th. They'll be coming out on June 5th. So if you do want our buyer or seller guides, please just email us, mark@markboyland.com, and I'd be happy to get that out to you. So please reach out to us if that's something that you want. And lastly, I love this quote by Harry Truman: America was not built on fear. America was built on courage, on imagination, and unbeatable determination to do the job at hand. So we're all eager for the day when every American safely return to work. And I can tell you that day is coming. Every week we're seeing encouraging news. And timing is everything. Patience is essential. But I feel our courage, our strength, and unparalleled resilience will get us there. So I really thank you for joining us on the call today. And now we'll open it up for the Q&A. Let me see if I can get to that. Okay. All right. So when do you think, how long do you think this period is going to last as far as prices going up on houses or inventory being low? It's hard to say, but I can tell you as the word gets out and more people or sellers start to realize that there is a market for their home, that they can get a good price for their home, they are going to start getting their houses ready and get them on. Now, a lot of home sellers have the best intention of getting their houses on the market quickly, but let's face it, it takes time to clean things out, get things ready. They may have difficulty getting contractors coming to their home. So there may be a little bit of a lag with that. But I do think that you've got about 8 weeks. It could push into 10 or 12, but about 8 weeks where the inventory is going to be imbalanced, meaning that it's lower than it should be before things really start to ramp up and get going. Next question, how do I win out on multiple offers, right? So you might have been out there, you might have been outbid on multiple offers on a house. So here's what we're doing on our team to make sure that our clients, our buyer clients, are winning on multiple offers. First thing that we're doing is we're making sure that that buyer is ready. We want to make sure the foundation is set so that they can be prepared to be as aggressive or solid as they can be for that seller. So we make sure that they have a pre-approval letter through a good lender. That pre-approval letter is no more than 30 days old because the mortgage guidelines keep changing. Secondly, we're making sure that they put together a letter for the seller, sort of a template, you know, describing who they are, why they love the house, why they think it's a great neighborhood, because we want to make sure that that buyer has an opportunity to make an emotional connection with that seller. Gives them a little bit of an edge. Next thing, escalation clauses. We have a standard or a template that we put together that helps our clients win out in multiple offer situations by allowing an escalation in price with a margin and a cap, so they don't overshoot it, but they can still get the house. And this has been very effective with working with our buyers on multiple situations. Next, we're making sure that our mortgage person that they're working with is reaching out to that listing agent and telling that listing agent how solid a buyer that person is. So very few mortgage people are doing that, but I can tell you from my experience, when a mortgage person reaches out to me and takes the time to personally go through and let me know how good that buyer is on financing, it gives us a level of confidence that the other buyers aren't getting. So these are all different steps, and we have a few more in order to make sure that our buyers can win out in a multiple offer situation. So once again, I'm Mark Boyland with Keller Williams Realty. I'm going to throw up our information just so you have that. If you want to contact us for our buyer seller guide, or you're looking to get an update on your home's value, or look how to buy in this market or take advantage of what's happening in the market, please reach out to us. It's mark@markboyland.com. You can also give me a call at 914-234-4444. Once again, thank you so much for joining us today. We look forward to seeing you soon. Take care.